I saw this video about a Japanese guy who came to Christ because of video games.
Because of video games.
Because of video games.
It's me, Mario.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris.
I'm Brett.
And welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about some video games. Brett's a very big video gamer. He's my pastor and loves video games. And you'll have to read a little bit. It's not too long of a clip, and we'll summarize it for those of you that... But Brett, fluent in Japanese, so you might not known that about him. Just kidding.
僕がイエス・キリストを信じたのが13歳の時なんですけど、僕当時すごいゲーム大好きで、そのゲームは天使の名前のキャラクターたちが出てきてた。で、敵キャラなんですけど、すごい強かったからインターネットで攻略を探し始めたんですよ。ゲームタイトルと天使の名前みたいな感じでね、検索を始めた。で、途中で天使を本当に紹介するような、そういうページが出てきた。もうそれを読んで、すごい、自分の中でかなりワクワクしちゃって、エキサイティングしちゃって、そこからどんどん天使について調べ始めたんですね。でガブリエルから、バプテスマのヨハネにジャンプしてった。バプテスマのヨハネをまた調べていっていくうちに、イエス・キリストのページにたどり着いた。で、もう20年前のことだからそんなに詳細は覚えてないんだけど、多分その教会のページについて、そこにシンプルな福音が書いてあった。で、そこに書いてあったのは、イエス・キリストは俺たちの罪のために10時間かかってくれた。そして、その後、3日後に蘇ってくれた。で、それを信じる者は救われるんだっていう、本当にシンプルな福音が書いてあった。僕はそれを読んで、マジでって、信じるだけで救われんのみたいな。じゃあ信じない方が損じゃんみたいな。僕はそれで信じたんですね。でも背景が。
So, I love that.
All I had to do.
Yeah, so I like that story because he's playing a video game and he's like, oh, I need to know about these, like I need to know how to beat this game. And so he's looking up stuff and it happened to be a game with names of angels. And he jumped from Gabriel to John the Baptist. So was John the Baptist an angel?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how he got there, but it worked, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
well, I guess because Gabriel shows up to John the Baptist's dad, right? And
oh, right. I was kind of wondering how he got there. I couldn't figure it out. It was an enigma, and you solved that for me.
Was it Gabriel that appeared to Zechariah, or was it?
Yes.
I don't know if he named. Okay, I know it was an angel.
He does name him, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So
that's going to bug me the rest of the time.
I know. We should know this. We read the Bible, but so he jumped from there to a simple gospel explanation, and then he's like, wait, seriously. He's like, that's all I have to do, and so do. Because I read that, I'm like, oh, well, there's more to it, guy. Like you have to, there's more. You're like, you can't just believe. And then I'm like, wait, I mean, and so it's almost, he was 13, so it's almost this childlike faith of like, oh yeah, I went in on this. Like this is great.
Yeah.
All I have to believe Jesus Christ was crucified and died for my sins. Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, and he rose again from the dead. And yeah, if you believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, there you go. So I mean, as pastors, do we make the gospel too difficult sometimes? Is it? I don't ever remember very many people being accused of that.
Is it
usually the pushback is easy believism and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, I think it all comes down for me to the definition of belief. I think you have someone that really, I think probably in his mindset, to believe meant what it is supposed to mean. That means entrust with my life. That's probably the background, because it's not just, hey, I believe that. I used to not believe he rose again from the dead, and now I do, and I go back to playing video games. You can tell, I mean, it's been many years ago, and he's still giving this story, so something happened that was substantial to his life. I think that's important.
Well, and so he gets into it here because of his background.
Oh, there's more. I didn't realize.
So because he says there's a bit of background here, and so here's what, because this is kind of the part I want to talk about, because this is, to me, this is very interesting.
少しあって、僕の家っていうのはその仏教の家だった。だから子供心にその親がね、念仏唱えたりしてるのを見て、なんかそういう霊的存在とか天国地獄っていうのはあるんだろうなって思ってた。でも善行を積まないと天国に入れないって思ってた。でも信じるだけで救われる。もう僕の世界観がそれでガラガラーって崩れたわけです。それで僕はその教会のウェブサイトに信仰告白する祈りの定型文が書いてあったから、それを祈ったんですよ。それで、やった、こんなに簡単に救われるんだ、やったーってこうなったのを覚えてます、すごい。いやー、そんな感じですね。信じた時の話っていうのね。
So, We used to take a mission trip to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it was a large. It was people from Burmese people.
I was going to say, it
from
sounds
Myanmar.
kind of funny to say that to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne,
Well,
Indiana.
you know how those heathens are, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's a huge population of Burmese people, and in it there was 3 different groups. There was a Muslim group, a Buddhist group, and a Christian group. And so we would go to, we would take our kids to the Buddhist monastery and kind of listen to the monks talk, and a lot of the things they talked about. I mean, they have a 10 Commandments that's very similar to the Christian 10 Commandments, and so we talked to the students about, hey, how is this different than ours? Because it's like, hey, yeah, don't commit adultery, don't lie, don't steal, those types of things that are in there. And you're like, so how are you different than a Buddhist? And kind of make them wrestle with like, okay, well, they're doing good things as well. But what was interesting is that there were Buddhist kids who came to follow Jesus, and their families had renounced them. And basically, like they had gotten kicked out, and the guy that we were, the pastor up there, Pastor Jim, he's a great dude. But he would sometimes take these kids in that,
Oh my goodness.
like basically would lose their family because the merit-based system of Buddhism, of if you are part of my family and you're not a good Buddhist, then I don't get merit for that. Like I actually lose
Oh,
merit.
that's a strike against you. Okay.
Yeah, and
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
so they would say you're not part of my family anymore because I don't want to lose my next, because the Buddhist belief is you do enough good stuff, you come back as a better person, and if you keep advancing, you get to be a monk, and if you do all the monk stuff right, then you get into, it's not nirvana. Is it nirvana?
I always assumed it was Nirvana or something.
Maybe it is nirvana. Yeah, it's like their version of heaven kind of thing. And so if you were my dad and you renounce Buddhism, I'm like, wait, you can't do that. That's going to be bad on me. So I would renounce you. And so when he says those things, like, oh, this is so easy. Like all I have to do is I just believe. And so, and I don't know what his parents thought of that, because it didn't seem like he got kicked out of his house, but
Well, they didn't tell what happened to him. There probably was their pushback. It can't be that easy.
yeah, it's that easy. And so, but yeah, so has there ever been a point where in your faith, like you've been challenged in that way of like, okay, if I believe this because I'm following Jesus, there's like pushback against you as a, because your background, you grew up with some rough people around you, so to speak.
Right.
But yeah, so was there any pushback when you were like, hey, I'm getting real about this Jesus thing? They're like, wait, this is my.
I remember, and it kind of draws a distinction here, because I grew up in the rock band world, and the guy that was in our band, who was the lead singer, and all of us were kind of wild, but he was the wildest of the wild, because it fits the stereotype. And I did get saved, and I told the guys, okay, I can't do this anymore, and all that. He's like, hey, I'm saved, man. And because he had prayed a prayer like at a church camp or something. Yeah. And even I didn't know hardly anything at that point, but I remember thinking, I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. There has to be more to it. Because again, it goes back to the definition of belief. And I think this guy kind of intuitively knew that belief means entrusting to, or declaring loyalty. It's not just like I'm believing and I go from here to here and then I just do whatever I want. And you can tell by the fact that he's here many years after that. But yeah, I got pushed back for thinking that it meant that I would change my life.
Yeah,
my loyalties.
And so you kind of knew that instinctively, like, hey, something has to change.
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's play games here. I mean, everybody knows what Jesus is about, and there's righteousness involved. I knew that much. I mean, because I knew when I wasn't living for him that I wouldn't live for him. I was doing it on purpose because I didn't want to live for him, and I knew what it meant to return to him. But that's different when you used the word merits a while ago. Yeah, I was also under no illusions that I had any merit, and I wasn't going to get any either.
Right. And so when I hear him talk about this of like, hey, I saw this merit-based system, like I had to earn all this goodness, right. But I feel like a lot of Christians fall into that of, well, absolutely. I still have to. And so how do you push back against that? How do you help people wrestle with those? Like, hey, there is good works that we're supposed to do. I mean, the Bible tells us that, like, hey, we were set apart in advance for good works, but it's not us doing good works to earn God's favor or forgiveness. Right. It's a result of forgiveness.
Yeah, like in Romans and in the New Testament, there's, to me, the best illustration is wages versus gift. I always said that if I only had one image to boil the Bible down to, one symbol, it would be the gift. Because what's the fundamental difference between the two things? As one is you actually work, you merit, they're under contract. Your employer is under contract to pay you. You have an agreement together, and he does that if you deserve it, and doesn't give it if you don't. But a gift is something that comes from someone else's resources, and you receive it. So, if you go merit system, well, how do you know that you merited? Because you get into motives. That's where Martin Luther struggled so much. He thought about his motive. Okay, I did this good thing, but I wasn't really thinking about God the way I was supposed to. I was thinking about the cute girl, the pew up, a couple things over. So that's where if you start thinking of merit, it's not too hard if you're going to be real with yourself that your merits aren't all that awesome.
And for me, because I did struggle with this. I grew up in a Christian household, and I went to church and did all the right Christian things. And I remember kind of looking down on my friends like, oh, well, you're watching our movie. You're not as good as I am. And I kind of built myself up. And even like being a pastor, it's one of those like, well, I'm a pastor and you're doing your other worldly job, kind of thing. And like, there's this, I have to fight against it because I feel like, oh, I'm earning these things somehow. And then God owes me. I like to call them Jesus points. Like we feel like,
absolutely. Yeah. Well, the late, great Tim Keller said,
who we do like here.
Said, he always battled against. He said the gospel battles against two things: is antinomianism or licentiousness. It's living life the way you want to in your own terms, like a pagan or a heathen or whatever, doing whatever. But it also battles against self-righteousness. Both those people have to meet in the same place, and that was Jesus' life. I mean, it was against. He spoke out against the Pharisees, and then he called the sinners to repentance, and both of them had to meet with him because both had to have what he had to offer because they couldn't do it for themselves, and that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, and in his story, this guy, I don't even know the name, but the guy that's telling his story, he said that website had the simple gospel, also had a simple prayer, and he's like, I did it. I was like, that's all. This is great. And but he knew, what you said, like it came down to this belief of, okay, but that means I'm going to be different now, and I'm going to live for Jesus because he wanted to. Like it wasn't I'm obligated to earn something, but it was like, I'm now forgiven. And the reason we make this content, and you can check out our One Life Network channel as well, where Brett and I have reacted to some NF videos. But we have a lot of other content on there of us talking about the Bible and how to read it and what you have to do to be saved, all those things. But it kind of boils down to, do I believe this, and am I going to make my life different? And we want people to know that and follow that and to pray that simple prayer.
I've heard it said that belief, there's different kinds of belief. And I think we all know this. Like, I remember hearing one guy say that you don't really believe something if just a few little things convince you. You believe something if everything convinces you. And what that means is if you entrust it with your life, it goes back to, I believe this as a conviction. There's one thing to kind of have something in your head, but when it drops down into and I think that's what this guy's saying. He said it became like, he rose again from the dead. Well, that implies, he's the one. It's not Buddha. It's this guy, and therefore it kind of follows that. But it's a nice bonus track that he got it through a video game.
I know. So,
I do love video games, or I did.
Oh.
I had to stop. I don't know if I ever told this story. But,
no.
I was addicted to the one. I think it was a Medal of Honor, the Army ones.
Oh yeah.
And I was in my mid 40s. Okay, and I remember one night I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was trying, and then I kind of came to myself. I had this moment where I was like, get a grip on yourself. Stop it. So I kind of quit ever since then.
Yeah.
I had to do away with it.
I do play video games, but mainly with my son now.
You weren't an addict like I was. I was becoming an addict.
I was never an addict to video games.
Because you're too good to do that. You're one of those church kids that just, just always. But as a pastor, I was like, man, this game. I'm going to beat this game if I have to ruin my entire career and my family and everything else to get there.
Now, there was a night where I was playing online with my friend, and my wife got up to go to work, and I was still playing with my friend. And it was funny because my friend's wife got up at the same time, because we were on headset, and he was in New York and I was in Evansville, and so and my wife came out. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to work. See you later." And then I heard his wife, "What are you still doing?" And I was like, "My wife's better than yours." So
yeah, right. Because I was thinking, I wonder what your wife's little thought bubble would have read. Like, you are what? Come on, man.
This is before kids and all that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Maybe the NF reaction video. We'll see. Who knows?